I'm here with Lizzie Mabbott, who's the author of Chinatown Kitchen. Lizzie, welcome.
Thank you.
This is fantastic, and it really kind of charts your childhood in Hong Kong and some of the recipes and food memories that you had growing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hong Kong was the kind of place that inspires you to eat all the time. I think the Chinese culture is very driven towards greedy people. So every celebration is about food, and every time you meet up with friends, I mean, the first thing you ask is, have you eaten, rather than how are you? And Hong Kong really was the kind of place that nurtured that kind of greed.
You had a great anecdote about, I think, having dim sum, and if you kind of moved the trolley around too quickly, or if it wasn't your turn, you got swatted with the chopsticks. I love that. It was like tough love.
It really was. And in fact, in family dinners, it was very strict rules as to who can go back to the big pot of rice first. So everyone has a bowl of rice, which you put things on to flavour it. And if you'd finish that bowl of rice, you'd have to make sure that all your elders were all okay and all been served before you go up yourself.
So what was it like moving from Hong Kong and that food culture to England at the age of 13?
It was quite the culture shock, I think. I mean, gone were the days of just stopping off at any old street stall to buy something to eat. I moved straight to Suffolk, which is very rural. I think the town I lived in had 1,000 people in it. So it was it was quite a shock, and quite an upsetting shock for someone as greedy as I am. But, you know, we assimilated into British life. There's a lot of fish and chips, kebabs, that sort of thing.
So tell me about when you started the blog, because that was part of trying to kind of capture some of these recipes from your childhood.
I started the blog in 2008. I'd moved out of home for a couple of years, and I just started to really miss the food from home. There wasn't anywhere at that time in London. I think the Chinese restaurants weren't quite what I was expecting. They were all very catered towards tourists. A lot of it was buffets and sort of things. So I just set about trying to cook it myself. I mean, I had the wonders of the internet and YouTube to teach me these things. So I just kind of just got stuck into all the supermarkets in Chinatown, picked up things that I recognised, and then went to go home and try and make something with them.
So it charted both the successes and the not quite so successes.
I think you have to have, you need to know what you've done. You need to make mistakes to be able to do something right, I think.
But the blog has become hugely popular. I mean, did that surprise you that something that was kind of a personal journey in some ways became such a public success?
Yeah, it was very surprising. When I was writing the blog, I wasn't writing to an audience. I was just writing for myself. When people actually started reading it, I thought, oh God, I should be a bit better at this. So yeah.
And then how has it been taking it from the blog and now doing the book?
I think the book was a learning experience for me. It was very it was different because for the blog, when I was writing recipes, I was just writing a splash of this, a blob of that sort of thing. But recipes in books, you have to be a lot more regimented. People have different levels of cooking, and you don't want to intimidate anyone out of that sphere. So it's very much more exact and a bit more prescriptive.
And we've been talking about Chinese food, but you have Korean and Thai and lots of other different flavors that are in the book as well.
Yeah, and I think the great thing about Chinatown, and in fact especially London's Chinatown, is that you can get all these different ingredients from like Vietnamese, from Thai, Japanese, Korean, and all sorts of Indonesian especially as well. And I think I wanted to incorporate all of it because it's just more fun, isn't it? I mean, I think if you take one cuisine only, you're kind of tied into the authenticity of that. Whereas I wanted to experiment more and maybe try the crossover of flavours.
Well, it's very successful. Chinatown Kitchen with Lizzie Mabbott. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.